Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. This is the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. If you have a Roku streaming device, as you're watching the show here on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Fire TV, and of course, Roku, you can watch it on Roku via the BS3 app. Just go to Roku and download BS3 TV. If not, you can go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. As you are watching this on Thursday, I am in the air headed to Cleveland, Ohio, getting ready to watch and cover and enjoy the Women's Final Four matchup taking place on Friday. Two great games, should be, hopefully, between first game, South Carolina and NC State, followed by UConn and Iowa. Yes, me, KG Kris Gard in Ohio, covering the Women's Final Four. Houston Roundball Review's been covering the Women's Final Four since like 2002 or something like that. It's been a long time as the Roundball Review has been privileged and credentialed to cover this event, and it has grown in that 20 plus years. The women's tournament has grown in popularity. How much has it grown? I'm glad you asked. This is how much it's grown. Look at that. The semifinals matchup between LSU and Iowa. Angel Reese, LSU. Kim Mulkey, LSU. Caitlin Clark, Iowa. Head coach Lisa Bluter, Iowa. 12.3 million viewers. Most watched women's college basketball game on record. Had a peak of 16.2 million plus during this broadcast. So those haters out there, who watches women's college basketball? Well, if you don't, that's you. That's a you problem. But 12.3 million viewers watched this game, watched Iowa defeat LSU to advance to the Final Four for the second straight year. So that's how many people watch women's college basketball. The UConn USC regional final had, 6.5 million viewers, which would have been a record for a regional final, except for that game right there between Iowa and LSU. So we're going to talk about women's Final Four, quick look at the men's Final Four matchups, but a lot of this will be H-Town specific teams. Rice Owls men's hoops is in the news. Houston Cougars men's hoops is also in the news. So that will be the majority of these 55 minutes and change on today's Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. As always, thank you very much to AJ Jones for trusting me and giving me this platform, as well as being in the family at BS3 Network as you're watching the show on Roku on BS3 TV. And one other person who's going to be watching Iowa, UConn, Caitlin Clark, Kelvin Sampson. Don't believe me? Listen to his answer from Wednesday's press conference. And a lot of the comments, the entire conversation the coach had with the media is on the Houston Cougars athletic website. But I'm going to play 3 clips during today's show from Wednesday's Zoom session. This first clip, ABC 13, KTRK 13's Adam Winkler is asking the question. He asked Coach Sampson if he's going to watch the men's Final Four game this weekend or the women's Final Four game this weekend, because Coach Sampson, we can talk about it, I'll talk about it briefly, is still kind of bummed and disappointed at how his team's season ended. That injury to Jamal Shead, that severely sprained right ankle, grade 4 sprain that Jamal had 6 minutes left in the first half against Duke in the semifinal in that Sweet 16 game, and Jamal could not play the rest of the game. Cougars fought, gave it everything they had, but they lost by 3. So Cougars could not replace Jamal Shead. They did what they could. They battled, but it's hard to replace an All-American on short notice. But listen to Coach Sampson's answer to Adam Winkler's question.
You've told us before that you watch a lot more NBA than you do college here, and you just say that you're still sick to your stomach about the way your season ended. How will you handle this weekend's Final Four, men's or women's? Will you watch it? Will you avoid it? What's your game plan?
I'm gonna watch Caitlin Clark. That's for sure. She's ridiculous, isn't she? She's fun to watch.
She's fun to watch. Yes. Head coach Kelvin Sampson, the Houston Cougars men's basketball head coach, said of Caitlin Clark, she's fun to watch. Earlier this season, Coach Sampson said he would spend money to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. That says a lot about Caitlin Clark's game, her skills. She's more than just a scorer if you have not seen her play yet. I think she had, 41 against LSU. She also had 12 assists. So she's more than just a scorer. She's more than just a player who can shoot from deep range, long three-pointers. She gets her teammates involved as well. She's a complete player, and she will be. She has already racked up more and more awards, but she will be the Women's College Basketball Player of the Year. She's that talented, and she's going to the WNBA, and her fans will follow her and support her new team in the W, which will be the Indiana Fever, where they make it official and select with the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. The Indiana Fever select from Iowa, Caitlin Clark. That's, I think, 2 weeks away, I believe. It's coming up soon after the end of the women's basketball season. I think I want to say like the 15th or so, April 15th, something like that. Angel Reese has declared for the WNBA draft. So a lot of the top talent players who played in the tournament, who are still playing in the Final Four, are going to be in WNBA draft. South Carolina's Camila Cardoso, 6'7", center. She declared for the draft. WNBA talent's getting there. Oh, this hurts my heart. Hurts my heart that the city of Houston does not have a WNBA franchise anymore. But I digress. Another time, another story. I keep hope alive for that one. Hopefully one day the W will return to Houston with a good owner with deep pockets, willing to invest in the team and the franchise. But back to the NCAA Women's Final Four matchups. Taking place on Friday. Their games Friday, semifinals. 3-seed NC State, women's team, and the men's team from NC State in Final Four. Wolfpack, 31-6, going against 1-seed South Carolina, undefeated. Dawn Staley's Gamecocks, 36-0. A game scheduled for 6 p.m. Central on ESPN. You know how it is, how TV does it, 6:05, 6:09, whatever kind of thing. But it's the first game of a doubleheader. Next, roughly 30 minutes after that game ends, 3-seed UConn, Paige Beckers, Aaliyah Edwards, 33-5 Huskies versus Caitlin Clark. 1-seed Iowa Hawkeyes, 33-4, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Also on ESPN. And then the winners of both those games in the title game on Sunday, April 7th, ABC, 2 o'clock Central Time. That game, the championship game, could, if it's Iowa and South Carolina, could break the record that was just set on Monday for most eyeballs watching, most viewers watching a women's college basketball game. We shall see. The Caitlin Clark economy, the Caitlin Clark effect is real. More. This is ESPN info regarding their coverage of the women's Final Four. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship is live from Cleveland's Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, April 5th and 7th. The 2024 championship weekend will feature the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, along with MegaCast presentations across multiple platforms, with all televised offerings also streaming on ESPN+. ESPN's lead commentator team will call the action from Cleveland. Play-by-play voice Ryan Rucco, Rebecca Lobo, and reporter Holly Rowe. Sports Center anchor and Women's College Game Day host Elle Duncan will lead ESPN studio coverage, joined by Carolyn Peck, Andrea Carter, and WNBA All-Stars Shanae Ogumike, from H-Town. And Rookie of the Year, WNBA this past season, Aaliyah Boston, South Carolina alum. The NCAA Women's Final Four special tips off at 5 p.m. Central Friday on ESPN, breaking down the storylines and previewing the semifinal matchups. The NCAA Women's Championship special will precede the championship for a full hour on ABC at 1 p.m. on Sunday. More about the megacast. The ever-popular The Bird and Taurasi Show returns for its third year, featuring collegiate and WNBA legends Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi. I wonder if Dee's going to have something in her special cup again. The dynamic duo will once again bring their signature banter and unique perspective to fans. I'll say unique and banter, live from the BTS set inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. The show will be available on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus for the semifinal games, then will air on ESPN and ESPN Plus for Sunday's championship. Additional megacast feeds include Beyond the Rim on ESPN Plus, which provides an aerial camera view with the main telecast commentary and replays, supported by an enhanced statistical feed. Also, On the Rail on ESPN Plus tracks game action along one full length of the floor from end to end. The stream will feature natural sound and replays. Technology tips off. 2 new pieces of technology to the broadcast. First one, the Canon Free Viewpoint. It's 3D highlights in a volumetric environment. Ooh, that's fancy. Which will be available for ESPN studio programming, social and digital platforms, as well as uploaded to ESPN's brand page on Meta's X Stadium VR Sports app. I didn't know all that VR stuff, but I got to probably adapt and adjust to that technology. Next, immersive VR highlights. VR highlights for all games produced by COSM, COSM, will also be uploaded to the ESPN page in Meta X Stadium. Ooh, la, la, la. And then lastly, in-depth look at ESPN's camera setup in Cleveland. Mr. Willie Gibson, 43 cameras, 32 dedicated to the game, a rail cam, a sky cam with virtual graphics, a Sony 4800 with Fuji SK25 lens. Ooh, fancy high-tech stuff. A Sony f5500 with Fuji 24mm to 300mm lens, an outdoor drone with a virtual graphics, and then 5 cameras for the upgraded Bird and Taurasi Show setup. They're going all out, aren't they? Technology, when you invest in women's sports, you got a star player like Caitlin Clark and a Hall of Fame coach like Dawn Staley and Hall of Fame coach like Gina Auriemma. 4 great teams. Looking forward to, should be a lot of fun. Should be 2 good games. Fans love women's college basketball, and ESPN is investing in it. Great to see. It's great to see. Men's Final Four. Yep, Coug fans, the season still continues. Even though the Cougs lost to Duke in the Sweet 16, the games still go on. That tournament still goes on. So I'll still talk about it briefly. On Saturday, April 6th, semifinals. 11 seed. NC State has won how many in a row? Let's see. They won 5 straight in the ACC tournament to win it all, to win the automatic bid. And they won 4. So they won 9 in a row. So at one point, they were 17-14 on the season. Have won 9 straight. Big man, DJ Burns, going against the 1 seed Purdue Boilermakers, who are 33-4, led by Zach Edey. College Player of the Year. Naismith Player of the Year. Wooden Award Player of the Year. On. All the awards going to big fella. So 2 different kinds of big fellas. DJ Burns, Zach Edey in the first game. Tipping off at 5:09 Central on TBS. That's TBS, not CBS, TBS. That game would be followed by 4 seed Alabama, 25-11, versus 1 seed UConn, 35-3. UConn is my pick to win it all. Game is scheduled for roughly 7:49 Central on TBS. So they have roughly 40 minutes at the end of the game. Yeah, we'll see about that. Roughly between 30 and 40 minutes after conclusion of the first game. And then the championship game on Monday, April 8th, 8:20 Central, also on TBS. So TBS has all 3 games of the men's Final Four. So the rating numbers might take a little bit of a hit because they're not going to be on CBS. All 3 games on TBS. You're watching, reminder, the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, streaming to you on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Fire TV, and of course on Roku via the BS3 network. More on it. More hoops, more college hoops. Some news about the American Athletic Conference. Yes, I still cover the AAC because the Rice Owls are in the AAC. I have not abandoned the AAC because the Cougs are now in the Big 12. So I still keep up with the AAC. And that conference made news on Wednesday. Take a look. Wednesday afternoon, the American Athletic Conference Board of Directors announced Tim Pernetti has been named the second commissioner of the American Athletic Conference. His tenure will begin in June. He succeeds Mike Oresco, who has served as commissioner of the American Athletic Conference since the reconstitution of the conference in 2013. Pernetti is a respected veteran leader who brings over 3 decades of sports, business, and media leadership to the American Athletic Conference. He served as president of IMG Academy, executive VP of the global sports and entertainment company Endeavor, president of IMG College, and executive vice president, content, CBS College Sports. Quote from Mr. Pernetti: "It is truly an honor to be selected by the chancellors and presidents of the American Athletic Conference to serve as their commissioner at this important time in collegiate athletics that demands innovative leadership and consensus-driven change." He continues, "I am fired up to work alongside our board, conference staff, athletics directors, and coaches as we continue to transform the AAC into a bold collegiate conference enterprise that promotes world-class academic and athletic opportunities for our student athletes through innovative resources, brand partnerships, and emerging opportunities. I am ready to roll up my sleeves and, alongside our conference community, get to work." So that's good news for the conference. He seems like a person who's qualified and capable. I look forward to meeting him at a media day for football or basketball at some point this season, hopefully. Get to know him like I got a chance to know Commissioner Michael Resco, because I was one of the few media who attended the very first AAC basketball media days back in 2013. I'll go back to the beginning of the AAC. So I'm going to continue doing that. Rice Owls made some news on the men's side. Well, let's get to it right here. Last Thursday, I mentioned that there were rumors percolating that Rice Owl women's basketball head coach Lindsay Edmonds was the front runner to be the next head coach at Virginia Tech. I was told last Wednesday that the job was hers if she wanted it. The more days passed, a deal never got done. Coach Edmonds is still the head coach at Rice, and Virginia Tech announced their new head coach on Wednesday, Coach Megan Duffy, who played at Notre Dame. So she is now the head coach at Vatech. So Coach Edmonds is still in charge on South Main of the Rice Owls women's basketball program. Going into her 4th season, barring some change, unforeseen. She's still in charge. She's going to try to lead the Owls to back-to-back AAC championships, and a return to the NCAA women's tournament. They have, if she stays healthy, the Houston Chronicles girls high school basketball player of the year in Anaya Alexis, who chose Rice over Houston. But on the men's side, Rice Owls basketball. Staff additions. Coach Rob Lanier, new head coach of Rice, announced some staff additions, starting with Kris Kreider, named the associate head coach of Rice Owls. He was selected to the Top Connect Basketball Symposium in 2022 and 23, the networking and leadership event that includes athletics directors and some of the top assistant coaches in the country. He was also invited to the 2023 Jay Billis Coaches Leadership Program, which is intended to help experienced Division I assistant coaches continue to refine philosophy both on and off the court. And he returns to Rice. He was at Rice a few years ago. See here, his first stint at Rice was from 2017, 2019, where he helped recruit classes ranked 4th in 2018 and 3rd in 2019 in Conference USA, according to 24/7 Sports. Guard Chris Mullins, yes, Chris Mullins with an S, not Chris Mullins, the lefty from years ago, was named to the 2018-19 CUSA All-Freshman team by both the league's head coaches and the media. Additionally, 8 Owls were named to the CUSA Commissioner's Honor Roll in each of his 2 seasons on staff. Guard Connor Capshaw capped his junior campaign in 2017-18, earning a spot on the Conference USA All-Academic team. Also on the staff, Andre Owens, not the Houston Cougars Andre Owens, a different and younger Andre Owens, has been named Rice Owls men's basketball assistant coach. Tuesday afternoon, Andre was named assistant coach. He came to SMU after 3 seasons as an assistant coach at Sam Houston, 2019-2022. The Bearcats went 56-36 in those 3 seasons, including a 37-17 conference record. The Bearcats were in the top 4 in the league standings each season. In 2021, Owens was named to the Dave Campbell's Texas Basketball 40 Under 40. Means I'm older than him. Oh, my goodness. He spent the previous 3 seasons as a head coach at Western Texas College in Snyder from 2016 to 2019. The Westerners went 50-38 under Owens. Western Texas College finished 22-10 and placed second at the Region 5 tournament in Owens' first season. He coached 3 National Junior College Athletic Association academic All-Americans, 6 All-Western JUCO Athletic Conference selections, and 9 players who signed to play Division I basketball. Before taking over at Western Texas College, Owens was an assistant at Oklahoma City University from 2012 to 2015. While he was there, his responsibilities were recruiting, player development, practice planning, film breakdown, scouting, strength and conditioning program, and fundraising. Life at a JUCO. That's all his responsibilities. Wow, that's a lot on the plate. As a player, Owens attended UTSA, where he was a 2-year starter after signing with Roadrunners out of McLennan Community College. He averaged 18 points and 6 rebounds and was named a second-team All-Southland Conference selection. Last but not least, also Tuesday afternoon, Jocelyn Crow was named Rice Owls men's basketball assistant coach. Prior to his work at SMU, in his long season with La Tech, Crow helped the Bulldogs finish with a 24-10 record while advancing to the Conference USA championship game. He helped coach 2 All-CUSA selections in Kenneth Lofton Jr., first team. Alan Tran knows about Kenneth Lofton Jr. That's not correct. Now it's the Grizzlies. I think he's with Utah now. And Kobe Williams, who was an honorable mention, as well as Caleb Stewart, who was voted to the CUSA All-Freshman team. Crow previously worked at Ulala, University of Louisiana from 2015 to 21, first as the Director of Student Athlete Development for 1 year, then as an assistant coach for 5 seasons. He was part of 5 winning seasons at UL under head coach Bob Marlin. There's a name from the past. He played a key role in the development of 9 all Sun Belt honorees. The 2017-2018 Raising Cajuns went 27-7, won the Sun Belt regular season title, and earned an NIT bid. Crow also served as a grad assistant at ULL in 2011-2012, where he worked with 2014 NBA draft lottery pick Elfrid Payton. Crow played professionally overseas for 3 years from 2012 to 2015. So there's your Rice Owls. 3 additions to the staff for Coach Rob Lanier. Next few minutes, real quick, go ahead to the bottom of the hour here on this edition of the Lunch Break, Throwback Thursday, the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. Listen to these comments from head coach Kelvin Sampson. He's answering questions. My voice, you'll hear my voice first. I asked Coach about what is the plan for the replacement to replace Jamal Shead. Will that person come from the portal? Coach's answer is short, simple, direct, as he does. Then you'll hear questions from Chancellor Johnson from KPRC TV Sports. Coach's answer regarding how does he handle the portal during the tournament, because the portal was open while the Cougars were still playing in the tournament. And then last question and answers from Coach, you'll hear from colleague Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Basically, JD asked him, Coach Sampson, what he looks for in a point guard. He's only had 3 point guards in his 10 years as head coach at Houston. The Godfather, Galen Robinson Jr., then Dejan Jarreau, and then Jamal Shead. So who will be next in line in that great lineage of great point guards for head coach Kelvin Sampson? Take a listen. You're watching the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. The importance, how important it is to be right when it comes to the point guard position. Who will be, or is that replacement for Jamal Shead in the transfer portal for a point guard?
Who will be the replacement?
Is that person in the portal?
Yes.
What's your timetable for making that decision?
Whenever I make it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this there, KG. We're gonna have a good point guard next year.
We'll go to Chancellor Johnson from KPRC TV.
Thanks, Coach.
Chancellor, please go ahead.
Kelvin, it's funny that even after you listed all those challenges, you guys still went on to win the Big 12 championship. So congratulations to you guys and Seth once again. My question is, a lot of the conversation right now has been on the timing of the transfer portal. For you, obviously, the team was competing in the NCAA tournament when that happened. What are your general thoughts about the timing of it? And then with so many players entering into the portal, how do you kind of attack that while also, at the time, still preparing for a really important game?
What was the last part of your question?
With so many players entering into the portal, at the time, how did you go about attacking that while still preparing your team for the tournament?
Well, I never worried about that. I just focused on getting my team ready for the tournament. I don't know what you guys talk about, but I know who on my team's coming back, so I know who we need. So I don't get my information from anyone. I am the information. It's like trying to keep up with the Joneses. We ain't trying to keep up with the Joneses. We are the Joneses. So in terms of attacking the portal, I haven't attacked the portal. Like last year, I got asked stuff about for this guy and that guy. And, my response is usually, "What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about." So for me, we may add. Obviously, we're going to add a point guard. We had we add another guy if we see fit. You always throw a worm on the hook and throw it out there, see what bites. But I'm not fishing in the same pond that everybody else is in. I'm not fishing in the pond where there's 260 species of fish. I'm only looking for a guy that can do this, that has this, this, and this. And this, and this is the key. So I have zero interest in other people's opinion about the players that we should recruit or sign, because their opinion is about as much as one of those 10 million cicadas attacking a crop of corn. Don't matter.
Go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, please go ahead.
Morning, Kelvin.
Morning.
Kelvin, going back to the beginning with Galen and then Dejan and then Jamal, each one of them were obviously they were different. Whether it's the development aspect of you get a guy at that position that you can bring along and develop like Jamal, or go to the portal and maybe have a year or two, is there a common denominator that you look for, or specifically with the portal that you need to have in a guy that maybe you won't have for as long, that you need to sort of stress certain things sooner rather than later?
No, for being a point guard in our program, two of the things that I look for is just things that we'd all want from our children. To be a good person. I think it's important. If you're a low character dude, we're not going to bring a low character dude in here because our culture is too important. We're not going to bring anybody who's going to screw the culture up. Immaturity is important. Being able to handle adversity is part of both of those. Galen had some rough days when he was a freshman and a sophomore. Of the three, all three of them had certain characteristics in common, in that they had good intangibles. And trying to evaluate, I do evaluate that. I look for that. It's like when a kid comes up, when one of our bigs come on campus, for some reason, I always look at, when I'm watching a kid play, one of the first things I look at is how long his arms are. I've been doing that for a long, long time. First time I saw JoJo Tugler, I said, God, that kid can tie his shoes without bending over. But those kids play way bigger than their athleticism, and their wingspan allows them to be way bigger than they want. But that point guard position, a lot of character things I think are important. That's a leadership position. Galen was a outstanding leader, but he wasn't as a freshman. Very inconsistent as a sophomore, outstanding as a junior and senior. Then Dejan was unique. All three of them were extremely bright, very smart. Galen was extremely, extremely smart. Dejan's basketball IQ and how smart he was as a human being was off the charts. Jamal, same way. All three incredibly intelligent people. Great leaders, all those things. So the kids that we're recruiting, or the kid that we're recruiting, whatever how you want to put it, has to be really good in those areas. But I don't compare them. Yeah, so I'm not looking for another Jamal. That guy's not out there. I'm not looking for another Dejan. That guy's not out there. I'm not looking for another Galen. I'm looking for this kid. He runs his own race. He'll do it the way he does it, and that'll be good enough for us.
That is Houston Cougars head coach Kelvin Sampson discussing the next, or the replacement, or the next point guard for the Cougars is in the transfer portal. Not sure how quickly that young man will become a Cougar, will sign with the Cougs. Could be soon. Coach Sampson said he doesn't have a timetable. It'll be when he said when it's official. That's when it'll happen. But little past the bottom of the hour, it is customary that I let everyone know about BS3 Network, BS3 TV, because if you're watching, as you see in the bottom right there corner, this is the lunch break via BS3 Network. We are part of the BS3 family. So I'm going to play this clip, come back in 90 seconds, but this clip will give you an indication of what BS3 TV is all about.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the Houston Roundball Review Takeover on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and also the BS3 Network. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. But you can watch this show. You are watching this show on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Fire TV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you have your Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If you don't, no worries. Just go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. Before the break, heard comments from head coach Kelvin Sampson about addressing the point guard position for the 2024-25 Houston Cougars men's basketball team. Let's take a look at how the roster looks as of April 3rd. Notice a few things. On the left side, young men who redshirted this past season, they will be freshmen. They'll be redshirt freshmen in the fall. 6'11", Jacob McFarland, 6'11", left-handed, slender, but athletic. Very quick, Jacob McFarland. Cordell Jefferson, 6'4" guard, redshirted. He played his senior year in high school with both wrists broken and didn't know it. Tough young man. Next, you see the two players for Houston who suffered season-ending injuries during this past season. Terrence Arsenault towards Achilles in December, and then JoJo had a broken bone in his foot, suffered in February, late January and February. So those 4 should be on the roster in the fall. In addition to them, 2 incoming freshmen, 6'5" wing Chase McCarty, followed with Mercy Miller, 6'3", 6'4". Shooting guard, probably will be a point guard in the Houston Cougars offense. Coach Sampson has told the media and fans that he recruits, evaluates players, signs players who could score first, and then works on their overall game for point guard. So maybe Mercy at some point will be the starting point guard, but I don't see it happening for him as a freshman this coming season. On the right side, veterans. So you got 6 on the left side. Count it up. That's 8 on the right side. Veterans. LJ Cryer, Javier Francis, Cedric Lott. Yes, I put down Juwan Roberts, Emmanuel Sharp, Jamal Shedd replacement, Ramon Walker Jr., and Malik Wilson. If you notice, one person is not there. That's Damian Dunn. Damian, on Wednesday, decided to go into the portal for his COVID year. So that still leaves 14 spots, 14 scholarships. Men's college basketball, you can only have 13 scholarship players. Ryan Elvin was not a scholarship player. He was a preferred walk-on, but he did not count toward Houston's 13 scholarships. Keep that in mind. The folks you see on the screen, on the slide, would count toward the scholarships. 14 is more than 13. Y'all know the math. So one of these players will not be here. Notice how I worded it. Jamal Shedd's replacement. That's going to happen. You heard Coach Sampson say that young man is coming from the portal. So one of those, I think, veterans, at least one, will not be here. Will also enter the portal or declare for the draft or go pro, NBA pro, overseas pro, etc. Okay? So the 14 you see here, one of them won't be here. So take him, put it in your mind. I don't know who's going to be. I believe Juwan Roberts is coming back. Okay? I think it's better than 50-50. Juwan Roberts will return. So that means someone else will go to the portal or go pro. That will get down to 13, the limit for scholarship players. So keep all that in mind as you, as fans, spend, I think, too much time living and dying with transfer portal updates. Enjoy your life. Trust Coach Sampson. Trust the staff. The team will be fine. You can see the team's got loads of talent next year. So the team will be fine. And Coach Sampson, I'll say it on the big screen. Coach Sampson told the media Wednesday, he reminded the media that he tells his players, he gives them advice. He tells them the truth, because some of these young men will put their names in the NBA draft evaluation to see where their draft status is, where their draft stock is. I don't believe any of these young men for the Cougars this year are ready for the NBA draft. Jamal Shedd, but he's not. I'm not counting him. Everybody else, that does not mean one of those 14 won't go pro. They might need to go pro. Could be a situation, financial situation for their family. Who knows? I don't know all that. But one of those 14 won't be here. At least one of those 14 won't be here. So keep that in mind. These closing moments of this edition of The Lunch Break, the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. See if you can see this, because if not, I got more audio video from Coach Sampson. But Tuesday, the Big 12 announced it will delay the launch of Big 12 Mexico with a new target date of 2025. Since Big 12 Mexico was announced, a variety of major initiatives have been added to the conference's agenda, headlined by the onboarding of 4 new member institutions: Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. The Big 12 will continue to build its brand in Mexico through its broadcast partners and remains enthusiastic about bringing the Big 12 to Mexico. See if I can bring this up because I forgot to do it initially. So bear with me here as I record this for you as you watch it live. But Coach Sampson was not bummed about the Big 12 being postponed. Let's just say, if I have that somewhere, the word he used was he was ecstatic. Ecstatic was a word that he used to describe not that the postponing of the Big 12 Mexico. Yeah, let's see. Looks like I don't have it saved. That's shame on me, or I saved it somewhere else, and that's a bummer because I really wanted you. Oh, here we go. I found it. Live. Just on the fly. Been doing this a long time.
We'll go to Starnes Leland from the Cougar. Starnes, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Afternoon.
With just what are your thoughts on the Big 12 Mexico game next year getting postponed, and when did you find that out?
Ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. Although, having been to Mexico City, it's got the best street food in the world, by the way. You don't have to go to a 5-star restaurant. They got 4- and 5-star restaurants, and those are trucks. I mean, that place is unbelievable. But no, I was never a big fan of that. But our commissioner, our commissioner is unbelievable. The Big 12 is lucky to have him. For him to come in and start just popping firecrackers and lobbing cherry bombs, and man, that dude is a bag of fireworks. I love him. I mean, I absolutely love Brett Yormark. And Bill and I talked about this 2 or 3 times. It was taking a home game away from us, and this NIL thing is real. A lot of fan bases think it's a year-to-year thing. No, it's every year. You have to start over with the new roster. And I think the most important thing for coaches today is how do you manage your roster? But I've been managing this roster for 10 years. Next year's roster is just a continuation of this year's roster. It doesn't start over for me. We managed the roster for next year was put in motion 3 years ago. So being able to manage your roster, being able to build your program today, I think is the hardest thing we do in coaching. And it's because of the rules that's been put in place. Every rule that's been put in place has been pro-student athlete. But a lot of those rules are anti-program building. And that's what makes these jobs harder and harder and harder.
So those words from head coach Kelvin Sampson about the postponement of Big 12 Mexico, the changes in the college landscape regarding NIL. And if you worried about, oh gosh, coach, he's getting frustrated about the changes, you didn't say all that. Don't worry about that. Don't read more in there than was said. But some good news, some more awards for Coach Sampson and point guard Jamal Shead. Tuesday afternoon, head coach Kelvin Sampson and Jamal Shead, point guard Jamal Shead, earned national honors from the National Association of Basketball Coaches, NABC. Sampson was named the NABC National Coach of the Year, while Shead was recognized as the organization's National Defensive Player of the Year. Under Sampson's and Shead's leadership, Houston posted a 32-5 overall record and captured the Big 12 regular season championship. Let me say it one more time. The Big 12 regular season championship by 2 games in the Cougars' first year in the league. Awards like that, awards and honors for Jamal Shed, will be reason why Coach Sampson is in Glendale, Arizona with Jamal to support Jamal as Jamal receives his awards, honors, and recognition. Coach Sampson is not big on attending the Final Fours. He'd be as happy watching games on TV and taking care of his grandkids. But because Jamal is going to receive so many honors, and because it's special for Jamal, Coach Sampson will be with Jamal in Glendale, Arizona this weekend for the men's Final Four events. A lot goes on regarding those events. Final minutes of this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover on the lunch break, powered by JM&E. Reminder, folks, I'm still looking for an advertiser for this show. It's important. It's vital for me and the continuation of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover to get an advertiser or advertisers, plural, for this show. Just putting it out there. Never say never, but things could happen, and things that this show may not happen much longer without support, financial support, advertising support, buying merch support, like a cup, like a mug, like a hat, like a cap, like telling your friends about the show, telling your friends about the lunch break, telling your friends about the Houston Roundball Review, word of mouth, such as clicking on the videos, making contributions to the videos, supporting the Roundball Review with super chats, advertising, merch, on and on. It's hard to keep doing this. It's hard to cover all these teams and do it well on a minuscule budget. So just putting it out there. As I said, as you're watching this, I'll be in Cleveland for the women's Final Four. Money out of my pocket. Been doing this a long time. And as y'all know, y'all live it, y'all see me every Thursday here on this show. The support for Houston Cougars women's basketball from the administration is embarrassing. It's atrocious. These closing moments of this show, little nugget. Coach Sampson celebrating his 10th anniversary as head coach of the Houston Cougars men's team. Coach Huey has also been around as head coach for the Houston Cougars women's team the same 10 years. One of those head coaches has been to the tournament numerous times. The other one has yet to reach the tournament. Go back to the very beginning, if I can, of the show. This slide is an indication of the support nationally, but also for those specific programs, Iowa and LSU, women's basketball. People want to see those teams, talented women's basketball players, college players play, shine, and excel on the court. Houston Cougars women's team has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2011. One more time, since 2011. The administration doesn't seem to care. Last few days, I heard discussion about the comparisons about, as folks were watching the games, watching LSU in Iowa. What's up with Houston women's basketball? Why aren't we better? What's the problem? What's the issue? It's time for a change. Then the discussion turned to, well, we don't have anybody who's going to pay that buyout. We don't have anyone that goes to the games. All the thousands of alums at Houston, you can't get someone, a group of folks to pay a buyout, to invest in women's basketball, to make Houston Cougars women's basketball relevant on the national scale, the national landscape. That's the mentality of Houston Cougars alums and administrators. On a happier note, Chris Baldwin from Paper City Magazine had one of the last two questions during Wednesday's media session. Listen to his question. He asked Coach if Coach is thinking about retiring anytime soon. Cougar fans, I think you will enjoy head coach Kelvin Sampson's answer.
Kelvin, you said you're in your last lap of your coaching career, but you don't know where you are on that lap yet. Do you think about that more each off season, and when will you sort of know?
I haven't thought about it this offseason. I've been too pissed off to think about that. No, I still got a fire in my belly. I know exactly where we are as a program, and I spend my time meeting with, like, we met Sunday morning. I know it was Easter. I made sure that I wasn't interrupting anybody's church services. But we met Sunday about when you have the kind of relationships we have with our players, again, we know exactly what's going on. That's why you have relationships. But with our team is how do we improve? How do we get better? And that starts with us as a coaching staff. And so I like to push the envelope with our guys, shake it up, making sure that we're all thinking outside the box a little bit. Sometimes your best ideas are inside the box, by the way. Don't ever overestimate that box. If you live outside, if you're constantly living outside the box, then you don't have one. Challenging. I like challenging people. I challenge Bishop. I don't challenge John. But I challenge Bishop. I challenge all our guys. Get better, man. Bring me some ideas. What's other people doing? And so that's why we did that second floor. I saw what Clemson and LSU and Alabama and Georgia were doing in their recruiting wars. I said, that's what we need. We need that. So we went and got it. And now the biggest thing now is this NIL thing and the transfer portal thing. I don't worry about the portal. I just worry about group of kids I think would fit here, would help us get better. I focus on those, and then I don't really spend a lot of time worrying about that stuff. I really don't spend a lot of time thinking about it because we kind of got it under control.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, April 4th, 2024. Number 1, California Assembly Member Matt Haney proposed the Right to Disconnect bill. This measure is designed to give employees the right to fully separate from employers while off the clock in an effort to prioritize a work-life balance. And by the way, the U.S. ranks 53rd in the world for work-life balance. Number 2, a new study reveals that accelerated polar ice melt due to climate change is affecting the Earth's rotation, slowing it down and challenging the assumption of constant planetary rotation. This phenomenon, outlined in a study published this week, not only alters the planet's spin, but also raises concerns about the accuracy of timekeeping systems worldwide. This unexpected consequence of climate change represents a departure from the long-held assumption that the Earth's rotation is a constant beyond human influence. Number 3, breast cancer clinical trials often test new ways to prevent, diagnose, and treat the disease. Medical experts in the field say clinical trials are one of the biggest reasons for the major gains in breast cancer survival over the past 30 years. You may be offered the opportunity to take part in the clinical trial at some point during your treatment for breast cancer. So, if you're considering a breast cancer clinical trial, what can happen? Find out in today's newsletter. Number 4, brought to you by Black Voters Matter. In an ongoing series about the current political season, we understand that voting in local elections can be confusing if you don't understand the role of each office and each official. So today, Coy Malone focuses on the office of the district attorney. District attorneys are elected officials who serve 4-year terms and ensure justice in their communities by prosecuting criminals. Their role is vital because they determine appropriate sentencing for criminals. Number 5, unlike typical AI narratives about privacy invasion and fake news, a 14-year-old with a passion for tech created an innovative AI chatbot for mental health. TikTok user Sophie aims to counter negative self-talk with positive affirmations and exercises in self-awareness and boundary setting. Although Sophie has not yet made her chatbot publicly available, her creation is just one among hundreds of free chatbots aimed at addressing mental health issues among young people. All right, Sophie. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. In relationships, being patient is a form of kindness, giving others the space to express themselves fully and openly. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with our mental health and wellness contributor, Aprilette Russell, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is James Jr., and I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.